Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be looking at a piece of modern tech that you may very well have on your car, and it's emergency braking. I'm sure there's a few of you out there who drive cars that have emergency braking assist and you don't even realise. But there are pieces of modern tech that I absolutely despise. Lane keep assist is one that I have on my car and it's constantly turned off. I call it the cyclist killer. If you try and go around a cyclist and the lane is of a particular width, it will try and pull you back in and get that cyclist. And it's not the only piece of tech that's a problem. Not so long ago, I was driving down this particular piece of road in my wife's car and I had cruise control on. And it's got cruise control that recognises speed limits. And it saw the first sign here on the left-hand side and jumped on the brakes. And I had a car really close behind and there was nothing I could have done about it. What's prompted me to do this video is actually a member of my family has recently had a collision and it was down to this emergency braking. They were on a motorway and the car, for some reason, just decided to jump on the brakes. And there was a lorry a little bit close behind and it went into the back of my family member. There was nothing she could have done about it. The liability of the collision will go against the lorry driver. Some of you think that that may very well be unfair because the car just suddenly jumped on the brakes, but you should be following at the correct distance anyway. Before we go any further though, I'd like to have a quick look at this car vertical report of this Lotus Exige. It's a 2017, so do you think it had emergency braking assist? By the looks of the pictures, I think this Lotus was either being driven recklessly or maybe it was even taken on track. There's a heavy hit on the front right, back right, and if we look at the other pictures, it looks as though there's a heavy front hit on the left. This isn't just a normal everyday accident. Quite comically, one of the pictures does show some puncture repair sealant. I think this one's a little beyond that, don't you? The pictures on these car vertical reports are only a small part of it though. They show loads of other invaluable information that could help you decide whether or not that this car could be the one. This report though doesn't show a lot of information, but this could very well be telling. For example, the mileage. It's only done 12 kilometers and that's all. There's no other mileage records. The timeline also doesn't show loads of information. It shows when the vehicle was manufactured, it shows when the date of first registration was, it shows in December 2017 was the damage. It had a license plate change in that same month. The second item of damage I think could very well be the first one, just reported in a different way. And then in October in 2018 the car was on sale, but there's nothing after that. So the lack of information in this situation would be just as important as loads of information. Because there are big holes in this car's history, it could be something that I would avoid. Don't forget, if you use the code Ashley, checking out your next potential purchase, you can save yourself 20%. Thanks Car Vertical. Another thing that encouraged me to make this video was some footage that I got sent in by one of my viewers, whose vehicle decided to jump on the brakes at an inopportune moment. Let's have a look at it.
Shit, what happened? Somebody decided to emergency brake for some reason.
Why? That was maybe because he got too close to you.
Possibly.
What then?
What?
Why did you stop?
Because the car suddenly said emergency braking. I don't know why it did it, it wasn't me.
My viewer was going quite slow, but I actually think it's the contrast between light and dark that made it do this. This was quite close and you can understand why the motorcyclist was aggrieved.
Oh shit, what happened?
Well, what can you do about it? Well, in my vehicle, there's nothing that allows me to turn it off. I am able to turn the lane keep assist off, or on in this situation. As you can see, it's generally in its off setting. Let's get that off again. I don't want that on. But is there any way of turning emergency braking off in a vehicle that you drive? If you know the characteristics of your vehicle's emergency braking, sometimes you can anticipate it and do things about it. When I had my Tesla, there was a particular right turn that I used to do, and the car used to think that I was going to crash into the bushes directly in front of me. So all I did, I just approached it a little slower, and the car didn't even react. The biggest thing that you can do constantly though is leave more space in between yourself and the vehicle that you're travelling behind. If that had happened to the lorry driver in my family member's accident, I'm sure that collision wouldn't have happened. Ironically though, shouldn't these safety systems stop us if the car in front should just suddenly jump on the brakes? That's one to ponder. To summarise, I'd like to ask this question. Do these systems dull down our abilities, or do they make things safer overall? My viewership might be best left to their own devices. However, don't forget we're all capable of making mistakes, including me. So surely we're better off leaving these systems on just in case we do make an error. Keep safe, and I'll see you soon.